All right. So we're going to be going over how to 10x your matches and build a fucking amazing online dating profile. So everything I'm going to share with you here is based on my own experience from doing over 100 online dating photo shoots and just seeing all this shit firsthand. So it comes from experience, comes from trial and error, years and years of trial and error, like 4 fucking years. So yeah, I'm just gonna go straight into it because that's how I like to do things. Cool. So step number 1 to building an amazing online dating profile is you've got to consider your fashion and your overall physical attractiveness, because that will just make everything else so much easier. Because like when your fashion isn't on point, like when I first started doing photo shoots for online dating profiles back like 4 years ago, guys would rock up and, you know, there'd be the types that would watch like heaps of RSD and stuff like that, like early RSD. And they would have this idea of like, you know, I don't want to wear, like, what you wear doesn't matter. Like, you know, like looks don't matter, like all this bullshit. And the clothes were just fucking terrible. So then for me, like I actually learnt about fashion. I learnt about styling. Like I had an auntie who was a stylist and she like taught me a few things, trained me and that kind of thing. And then I started doing styling consults with guys and the results I got from the shoots dramatically increased, right? And since then I've just kept doing it, right? So optimizing your physical attractiveness and your fashion before doing an actual shoot is so important. So how do you do that, and what really does that encompass? Well, so in terms of fashion, right, there's a couple pillars to that. There's like the fit, there's the style of the clothes you're wearing, and then there's color, right? So color is all about wearing the right colors for you that make your skin vibrant, that make it pop, that don't make you look like you're fucking dead. Style is all about what your clothes really say about you, because that's the thing about fashion. Like fashion is an unspoken language. Like you look at these photos down below, right? You look at the weekends, like right here on the left, and then you look at the weekend on the right. On the right, like, you know, he looks like a badass, right? He's got like a unique style. He's got the rips, like he looks like a bad boy. He looks like a guy who fucks. Whereas the guy on the left looks like, you know, he lives with his mom. He looks like the fucking 40-year-old virgin, like, you know, like. So that just goes to show the power of having good fashion. It's like, having good fashion, having a haircut that suits your face shape, having a well-trimmed beard. Potentially, not everyone suits beards, but all those kinds of things, right? Having them down pat can literally bump up your rating out of 10 by like 2 points, right? A well-dressed man is a good-looking man. Straight up. So that's really important. And you can see the difference. Like, you know, look at the guy on the left, fucking Ninja Turtle shirt, then like which one would you rather fuck, right? If you had a vagina, of course, right? So what you wear fucking matters. Let's just, all right, not for the debate. So what to avoid? Well, so look at the top left corner. So you can see on the left, this is to do with coloring, right? I'm wearing this like vertical striped shirt. It's red. Red is like the wrong color for me to wear because I have red and pink in my skin. So it clashes, right? Now, a good little trick that will teach you whether you're wearing the wrong color or not is you hold up the color to your face against your skin and you're like, okay, where does my attention first go? If you're wearing the wrong color, your attention is going to go straight to the color of the shirt and not the person's skin or complexion. So that's what you see right there on the top left. When I'm wearing the red shirt, it's like, you know, the attention goes straight to the fucking shirt. Whereas on the right, the attention goes more so to my skin and it doesn't clash and look like a fucking eyesore. So look out for that, right? And of course, everyone has certain colors that are going to suit them. Everyone's on like a different coloring. Like some people are cool, warm. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a whole fucking science to do with coloring. That I explain to everyone who does a fashion SMV optimization session with me, right? But just know that for now. If your attention goes straight to the shirt, it's the wrong fucking color. All right, number 2. Okay, so you can see right there, on the left, he's wearing the shirt and has like this really fucking tacky artwork on it. You don't want to have that, right? For the most part, just try to stick to plain colors like black, white, light gray, navy. So much better. And yeah, that one just looks tacky. There is some exceptions. Like, for example, right now I've got like the Purple Rain. It's like a vintage t-shirt. It's literally like fucking 30 years old. That's cool, right? Because it's like legit and it's very distinct. But most artwork that you find on t-shirts just looks like really cheap and tacky and just doesn't look as good. So there's very few exceptions to that. Okay, so third, generally speaking, tighter fitting clothes are going to make you look more physically attractive. But that said, you can break the rules. Like, I'm breaking the fucking rules right now. I've got like an oversized, this shirt's fucking oversized. But that's very intentional. So if it's intentional, then cool. If it's part of a look, for skinnier guys, you know, like I'm pretty fucking skinny. You know, it can be good to wear baggier clothes because it's going to like, take attention away from that. But if you're not, you know, if you're just a regular guy, or even if you have a good physique, if you have a good physique, you should be wearing shit that fits you nice and snug, for sure. And for the most part, definitely go for skinny over baggy. It's just going to look more physically attractive because girls are fucking perverts and they like good bodies. Yeah. So, number 4. This is about the rule of contrast, right? So, old mate Don Draper, like on the right, he's wearing like a white blazer and then he's got a white shirt. This just washes them the fuck out, right? Because there's like no contrast between his shirt color and the color of his blazer. Whereas there's a high amount of contrast between his skin color and his hair color. So when you've got high contrast, when you've got a high amount of contrast between your skin and your hair, you should match that with what you're wearing. So when he's wearing the white shirt, the navy blue blazer, this is good because it matches that level of contrast. It's like high contrast as well, so it looks really good. I'm high contrast too, so I try to keep that in mind when I'm pairing outfits together as well. I would never fucking wear a white on white. It would look like shit. So, you know, same deal. It's like if you got really light white hair and white skin, you wouldn't want to wear white and black. It would wash you out, you know? So you want to match the contrast of your outfits with the contrast that exists between your hair and your skin color. All right, so number 5, there's a rule that I like to say to everyone. It's like classic over modern, right? Modern shit just often goes out of fashion. There's a whole bunch of shit that was like in trend within the 2000s that really went out of trend and just looks like fucking modern and tacky and like fucking bullshit. So this is an example of that. This is like fucking like YD 10 years ago. For me personally, like I'm not a fan. Like if you're in Australia, if you're in America, you're probably like, what the fuck am I talking about? But in Australia, we've got like YD, Tarakash, like all these types of shops. I fucking hate them, right? Because they're very much like this modern style versus the classic, right? So you want to go for classic stuff, not like the modern, tacky, like bullshit like this. A good example as well is like, remember back in like the mid 2000s or whatever the fuck, Kanye would wear these like sunglasses. Like remember that video, like Stronger? There'd be like these fucking weird sunglasses. And at the time they were like edgy as fuck. And now we look back and we're just like, what are those? You know, like, so always classic over modern. All right. So number 6, you don't want to pair too many colors at once, right? Like this guy's got like fucking 4 or 5 colors going on at once. If you count the socks and the tie, just looks really like feminine and just not what you want. So you want to keep it to max like 3 colors. So this is just like an overview of like things to avoid. But honestly, there's so many little rules and intricacies when it comes to fashion. This is just sort of grazing the surface, right? But obviously in my fashion SMV optimization sessions, I cover all of this in depth. Also on my product goal mode, it's like all there, right? So next one. So finding your style. This is really important. It's got to be like authentic to you, you know? You don't want to wear shit just because like someone like me tells you to, right? You want to find, you know, you want to think like, what do I like to wear? Like What do I look at and I'm like, yeah, I fucking like that. Like, that's what you want to get. You want to form a distinct style, but at the same time, you want to understand, because fashion is like an unspoken language. Like I said, it's all about portraying who you are, where you fit into society, what type of guy you are, and really expressing yourself through the way you dress, right? So you want to actually think about what you want to convey to people, who you are, what you stand for, what you're into. You know what I mean? It's important to have a strong identity, and it's important to have a distinct style, because girls are aware of that shit. They know the difference between a guy who's just a fucking sheep that doesn't really think about what he's wearing and that doesn't want to stand out and just wants to like dress like everyone else and play it safe, right? That's a lot of guys. They just want to wear clothes that are like acceptable, right? Fuck that, right? Wear clothes that you want to wear, that you like to wear, you know, express who you are through the way you dress. So, you know, here's some examples here of some like very different looks. You know, it's obviously like when you wear a suit like that, you know, it gives off like this vibe of like being a businessman, like that kind of thing. When you see the guy with like the full sleeve fucking tattoos everywhere, it makes you think like, oh, he's more alternative. Maybe like a bit of a metalhead, punk, like fucking wild as shit, you know, like that's the kind of vibe you get. You know, obviously the other ones like the fucking white shorts, he looks kind of like a, I don't know, European Coke dealer. Like, yeah, so what you wear speaks, like, communicates to the girl, like, who you are, what you're about. And it's important to have a unique style. Like, if you're a dude who's not that physically attractive, like, the number one thing I could tell you, just form a really unique style. Like, you see some really ugly motherfuckers that have, like, really unique styles that get with really attractive women. Like, you know, think of, I mean, The Weeknd from before is a great example, but think of like someone like, you know, Machine Gun Kelly or something like that. Like he's tall, but he's not the fucking prettiest dude. Or think of, what's that fucking weird comedian that snagged up Kim K? Hold on one sec. Pete Davidson, look at that motherfucker, right? Yeah, all these different people that are like not that attractive, but like they got a unique style and shit, and they got a certain identity. Cool. So, what to go for? Well, first things first, every fucking dude should have the foundational items, right? Like you should have a plain white t-shirt that fits you well. You should have a black t-shirt that fits you well, like a light gray maybe. Maybe like a fucking navy, but not even that necessarily. You know, things like denim jackets, leather jackets. I think they look so good on so many guys. Not the typical leather jackets with like the collars, more like the biker leather jackets. I love those. Like top coats. These are all like classic things that never go out of fashion that look great on like across the board, right? So they're great foundational things to have. And obviously in my, you probably know from my content, but in my course Gold Mode, I have like, you know, the 12 fuck yes outfits, and they all have funny names. Like there's like the denim jacket deviant, which is the one on the bottom left, right? And then I've got like the one beside that on the right, it's like Santorini Slayer. So they all have these like funny names, right? And if you're interested in any of the outfits you see here, because they're all fuck yes outfits, just let me know and I'll send you links to where you can get the certain clothes in the outfits and stuff like that. I help you out. But yeah. Cool. I feel like I wanted to say something else. Nah, fuck it. All right, so hair, grooming, and physique. So your hair is really important because think of it this way. The square face shape is the most attractive face shape, right, for a man. And we all have these different face shapes. Like me, for example, I've got like a longer kind of face. Like I'd say it's closest to like oblong, right? And because of that, it's good to have like kind of like a pompadour because it kind of evens it out a bit, makes it look like it's more square. Like if I was to have, let's say, a buzz cut, you know, it'd look fucking terrible. It would make my face look longer. So you want to think about what your face shape is, and then there's going to be certain hairstyles and certain ways of trimming your beard that's going to complement your face shape and actually help it look more square. So that's really the goal there. And then at the bottom there, you've got the guy, that I think on the left, he's like fucking like 25% body fat. Then on the right, something like 10, I don't know, maybe 12% body fat. Like having lower body fat makes a massive difference to how physically attractive you are and to your face, right? So for any guy who's got a, you know, bigger body fat, just know, like, if you fucking lose like 10% body fat, everything will become a lot fucking easier in terms of dating. Like, it sounds shallow, and I'm not one of these like dudes that's like looks as everything. Great, it's not, but it's definitely important. And just know that, especially with online dating, if you're like higher body fat percentage, like getting, you know, down to a lower like 15% body fat even will help you tremendously. So keep that in mind. Really important shit. Okay, so on to the next one. So having a DSLR, like having photos taken with a DSLR, is going to be 10 times better than photos taken with a phone, because when photos are taken with a DSLR, they just pop more. They have this almost like celebrity status kind of look to it. It's like, whoa, who the fuck is this guy, right? If they're done right. And they're just way more aesthetically appealing, and they look more legit. Now, that said, you want to have 1 or 2 shots taken with a phone as well, so girls don't think you're a fucking catfish, and so it looks more like natural and shit. And you, don't get me wrong, you could have a profile just taken with a phone, but it's better to have shots taken with a professional camera. And for anyone who says like, oh, you shouldn't have shots taken with a DSLR on your profile, they're fuckwits, right? Any successful person who's done shit, who has a website, who has a business, who's had articles written about them, anything like that, is going to have professional pics taken them. Even someone who works a decent job and has a LinkedIn will probably have professional pics of them. It's fucking normal, right? Only fuckwits think it isn't. So yeah, having a photos taken with the DSLR will definitely help a lot. In terms of the best out there, like Sony A7 III, like absolute, like one of my favorites. A lot of my photographers have that one, so I'd highly fucking recommend that one. Cool. So on to the next, mastering subcoms and becoming photogenic. This is so overlooked by so many people, especially photographers. Photographers often have no idea about this, right? So pretty much your body language, every fucking limb, everything you do communicates things to the woman. It tells her about, you know, subconsciously, how confident you are, whether you own your sexuality, you know, how anxious you are versus how relaxed you are, like everything, right? Subcoms are so important, yet photographers have no idea, right? They go on these shoots and they're just oblivious, right? They're just thinking like, how can I bokeh the background? How can I make this look pretty? They're never thinking like, okay, what is his body language communicating? Is that like attractive? Are his shoulders relaxed? Is he occupying space? You know, is he kind of like, is he got is he doing pacifying behaviors? Is that smile like fake or real? Like, they don't think of things like this. They're just, because they're not dating coaches, right? So how the fuck would they know? Even people who say they're an online dating photographer, often they have no idea about things like sub-communications or like how to display status properly in a profile, because they're not dating coaches. So no fucking idea, right? So on to the next. Find your best angle. This is so important. And I've got a little hack, right? So what you want to do is you want to just video yourself, and you want to look up, you want to look down, you want to look to the side, you want to look to the other side, and you want to just keep doing that, and you want to play the video back. And then you go through, you watch it, and then you stop when you feel like it looks the best. And it's all about symmetry, right? That's what like having an attractive face actually is, right? It's just symmetry. So you should be able to tell. But then again, if you can't tell whether your face is symmetric, like what angle is the best, well then either you know, share it with your friends, some girls, like whoever else, try to get like a mixture of different opinions. And then from the group of feedback, then you decide, okay, based on what everyone's saying, what's probably true. Or you could just send it to me, just DM me your little video or whatever, and I'll tell you, right? Either or. Cool. All right. So open versus closed body language. So this is what I was talking about before. Like the guy on the right, he's just fucking like covering his dick, right? Which is communicating sexual shame. Which is obviously not going to be attractive to women. It's just like they're just looking at that like, why the fuck is he covering? Like not consciously, they're not consciously thinking this, but subconsciously, it's like, okay, well this guy's like, got sexual shame. He's trying to hide his dick. He's probably a nice guy, suffocating. Whereas you look at the guy on the left, he's like really occupying space, right? His chest is out, his shoulders are back. It looks very like dominant, very confident. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of almost like big gorilla-like, but not in a bad way. But yeah, that photo did really well. So it's things like that. It's all fucking evolutionary, right? It's all like subconscious shit. Okay. So mastering the squinch. So the squinch, oh my God. The amount of times I've said the word squinch, right? If I had $1 for every time I'd said the word squinch. The squinch is everything. Okay. Confidence is in the eyes. What a lot of guys do on their photo shoots, they just eyes really wide open like that, which communicates anxiety, unease, you know, which essentially communicates to the girl that you're like at the bottom of the dominance hierarchy. Because people who are at the top of the dominance hierarchy are like high in serotonin and dopamine, and they tend to be more relaxed because nothing's a threat to them. So yeah, so having eyes wide open like that is going to turn them off a lot. Whereas, yeah, you want to squinch. So look up, it's all about the squinch on YouTube. Master that shit, right? I get everyone to practice it before they do a shoot. It's so important. So yeah. So real versus fake smile. Here's an example. Like on the left, that's a real genuine smile, whereas on the right, it's fake. World of fucking difference, but yet a lot of people are completely oblivious. A lot of, you know, photographers as well, like regular photographers, are oblivious to this too. They're more thinking about the pretty background rather than, you know, what the person's actually communicating. And that photo too, like that, like there's also a pacifying behavior going on because he's kind of locking his fingers, kind of looks a bit nervous. So little things like that, you know what I mean? They're the things that really matter. Those are the things that determine whether you get matches or not, right? It's about really the energy that you're communicating and what you're communicating with your body language. And, you know, one of the most important things, no doubt. So always real smile. Like, if you can't have a real smile, then you don't have to fucking smile, you know, in every shot. I don't, like, for a long time, I didn't even have one shot of my profile where I was smiling. Every shot just looked like dominant and fucking like confident and shit. And so that's why I got a bunch of matches. So yeah, but having a genuine smile is really good, but it's got to be real. Okay, so the snapshot effect. Yeah, the snapshot effect is so good. So what a lot of photographers do is they'll just take a shot of a person as they're standing still, right? Or maybe when a friend's taking a photo, just like, you know, the one here and the before. It's like probably someone was just like, okay, just sit on that stool, like hold your glass. Okay, bang, take the photo. You know, you don't want to do that. See, the snapshot effect is really good for just like, it just grabs attention. Like it looks like literally like it was just a part of an action movie. You know, like look at that after. It looks like he's just fucking like rolling along. Like, it looks like a badass. Just like really captured him while he was in motion. And when I'm doing shoots, I get people to constantly move around. And as they're moving around, as I'm directing them, I just sort of catch them off guard while they're moving. And it looks really cool, grabs attention, looks way more natural, and just grabs attention way better. So you always want to do the snapshot effect. Cool. So displaying status. So this is another thing that's very overlooked, but think about it. Like an online dating profile is all about communicating who you are, communicating your lifestyle. And it's really like an ad. It's really like an ad that's just displaying, okay, like, you know, girls can be very picky on the apps, right? Like they're literally only going for the top 20% because guys are fucking thirsty as shit. So it's very outweighed. So like, why the fuck would a girl match with a guy if she has that many options, right? But when you can convey that you live a very attractive lifestyle, that you're a high status, well put together dude that has a lot going for you, that's the shit that makes us swipe, right? It's not all about fucking looks. It's also about you displaying your lifestyle and what you're about, right? So look at these shots. Like, you know, the one on the left is like me in a helicopter, which looks awesome. And chicks even open me off that, you know, like the one in the center, it's like the dude's at the top of a rooftop pool, like an infinity pool, right? And obviously he's got a great physique and he's showing that off too. The one on the right, like on a balcony, like overlooking the city in a suit, like real kind of like Christian Grey kind of vibes. Like looks like a, you know, successful dude, successful baller. So yeah, it's things like that. And you really want to think like, what are the most attractive things about yourself? And you want to include that in your profile. Like I think about that with every single client that comes to me. It's like, okay, what do they got going for them? What are their most attractive features? Okay, how can I put that forward in the profile? So that's really important. Cool. And yeah, and so much more, right? I'm only skimming the surface of really the things that you need to know to really get a profile that's in the top 20, top 10% of online dating. Because like I say all the time, like the top 20 to 10% of men on online dating apps are literally getting 80 to 90% of women, and 80 to 90% of men are literally competing for the bottom 20 to 10% of women, right? It's crazy, but it's just how it is, right? It's very outweighed, and it's a pretty shit experience when you're not in that top 20%, but when you are, you fucking get flooded. So that's what I've experienced over the last like 4 years. So yeah. But anyway, so step 4, like profile design and bio creation. Yeah, that's really important. So I want to give you an example of a solid layout. So the top left here, like the first 3 photos in a profile, generally I try to just clearly display what the person looks like and just make them look like they're most like as attractive as possible, and give the girl like a clear idea of what the fuck they look like, right? Because so many guys have pics and it's like them in a group and the girl's just like, who's who? Like, what's going on? So you want to have like 2 or 3 pics just of you looking your absolute most attractive, give you a really clear idea of what you look like. Then after that, you want to put in the lifestyle shots, right? So you can see at the bottom, he's got the shot of him just like on a yacht, on his phone, chilling. That's a real high value shot. The one next to that, like him at a club, like girls wrapped around him. She looks like more into him than he is into her. That's probably the most important thing for those type of shots. But all around, it's a profile that communicates a lot of value. Like he looks really confident in alpha, like in the first 3 shots, and really like physically attractive and big and stuff. And then, you know, the 4th and 5th displays like an attractive lifestyle. So, you know, and he could add more shots to that profile, and he did, right? As we went along. But that's just an example of like what can be done, right? Cool. So writing a top 5% bio, this is important. So this is mine. So pretty much the typical structure for a bio is you want to start with a pattern interrupt. Because think about it this way, girls are just scrolling through the apps, just mindlessly, just like, gonna swipe right, gonna swipe left. And you want to make them stop. So when you read the top of mine, like passionate about music, photography, and cunnilingus, imagine they're just scrolling through. They're like, oh, okay, first pic, that looks nice. And then they look down and they're like, you know, makes them chuckle. They're like, that's kind of fucking witty. It makes them keep reading, right? Pulls them in. Breaks the pattern. So you want to do that with the first thing. You want something that's slightly shocking, not uncalibrated, but just something that's like shocking, witty, just stops them in their tracks, right? And then after that, like I usually say, like you want to communicate, you want to display some value. So usually some things about yourself, about what you're into. I kind of display value at the top a bit, like, you know, height and business owner. That's displaying value. You know, talking about the fact that I'm into philosophy, spirituality, and I guess my pattern interrupt too is a little bit of a DHV too, like talking about cunnilingus, like being good at that, photography, like, and then, you know, the line about philosophy, spirituality, that does a really good job of screening for the girls who are into that shit, which is really good. And that's one of the things I love about online dating, because if your profile is set up in the right way, you can attract a lot of compatible women. And this is really good, especially if you're looking for a relationship, because it means you'll be able to find a girl who's into the same things as you, which is really important. And then at the end, I always say to have some qualification bait. So some bait, some stuff that baits her into qualifying herself or explaining why she's a good fit for you. Some things that bait her into really selling herself, because you want to be the buyer, you want her to be the seller, right? So in that, I've got like things for themselves, like kinky, like doesn't steal my food. There's plenty of things there. Like girls often qualify themselves off of this. They're like, oh, you're lucky I'm kinky then. Or they'll talk about like, I love Radiohead, like, you know, like all these different things. So girls actually love qualifying, you know, against what you want, because they're submissive in nature, right? It's like they want to be able to like sell themselves and be like, yes, I have this, you fucking high value man. It's just how they operate. So throughout your profile, you want to have a mixture of like, you do want to display value. Like I hate when I see these profiles and it's just like guys just self-deprecating. And by self-deprecating, I mean they're making these jokes about like how shit they are. Like, you know, like pros like this, but then cons like this other like shit, and they just fucking DLV themselves. You know, screw that. You want to display some value. You want to display your most attractive traits in your bio, but at the same time, you don't want to come across like too serious and like you take yourself too seriously. So you want to mix in some humor, right, amongst it. And that's what I've done here. Like when I put doesn't steal my food at the end there, it's just like a bit of playfulness among the rest of it. Like obviously loves deep chats, spiritual, like, no, I mean, loves photography and cunnilingus. Like that's pretty funny too. So it's like a good mixture of like DHVing myself, but also like not taking myself too seriously. Cool. So how my photo shoots work, or more so I should say, it's not just photo shoots. I call it my transformational process, right? Because it's more than that. Like I said, I do the fashion SMV optimization sessions with my clients first to optimize that. Then I do a photo shoot, because that way you're going to get the best results and you're actually going to get in that top 20, top 10%, not just do things the fucking Band-Aid solution kind of way and half-ass it, right? So the way the actual photo shoots work, so the one-on-one SMV sessions, obviously we do that over Zoom. So I go through your entire wardrobe. I break down your coloring, your best fits. I go through your entire wardrobe and I make like 3 piles. There's like a burn it, never fucking wear it again pile, an all right pile, and a fuck yes pile, right? So we sort through your entire wardrobe. And then after that, I really break down like, okay, what style is going to make you look like you're most attractive? What hairstyle is going to be your best? Like what beard style? Even with some people, I give them like diet and fitness plans as well, if they need help in that regard. And I've got other people I work with that work with Evolve Social, and we collaborate together because it's really important to optimize your physical attractiveness first before you do a shoot, right? And then when I do the actual shoot, so I've got photographers all around the world who are trained in my method, who are trained to look for things like nonverbal communication, that know the kind of backdrops that communicate status, that have been organized with me. You know, I've trained them firsthand in my style to shoot exactly like I do. Like I've taught them about angles, about different types of camera techniques, how to pose people. So they're very specialized, like one-of-a-kind people that actually understand how to get people fucking matches on online dating apps, right? So they're absolute beasts. And I have a very high standard for who I take on for that. So yeah, and the way those photo shoots run, we cover 6 backdrops, 6 different outfit changes, and they take heaps of shots on the day, right? And then I have a focus group of females, and they pick the best. We pick, right, collaboratively together, we pick the best 15, and then we narrow it down to the best 6 to use for your online dating profile, and then find the best order, so on and so forth, right? The focus group is amazing because Photo Feeler is a piece of shit, right? Learned that the hard way. So yeah, so we do that, and then after that's done, I help you write your bios across all the different apps, and we set that up. So that's really how it works. And there's a few little bonuses and packages there too, like integrating the online course into all of this, because I want everyone to just have something where, you know, they can just have endless stream of matches like coming in. They get this shit fucking handled once and for all. That's why I don't do masterminds or any of this kind of bullshit, because I want people to like have their fucking dating life sorted out once and for all. Like, I don't want you to have to need me 6 months from now, right? So cool. Awesome. So that's how it works. So if you're interested in booking an online dating photo shoot, or you want to do my 12-week coaching program as well, where we cover a few more things like texting, actual like dating in person and stuff like that, well, just inquire. If you're on YouTube, my email is in the description. If you're on Facebook, just message me. And yeah, we'd love to have a chat. Let's get you a fuck ton of matches and yeah, help you out. So till next time, ciao.